Alright, this is a video about solving quadratic equations, and what we're going to do here is I want to talk about how when you work with quadratic equations, a lot of times you'll see this equation or formula and then you'll see this one, and sometimes students don't realize or you just aren't aware that this is actually considered step one, that you have to go through this step of putting the quadratic equation in order, and then you're going to pull off your coefficients here, the a and the b and the c, and plug them into the quadratic formula. Okay, so this is step one. Plugging all those coefficients in is step two, and then simplifying the final answer can be just as complicated, is step three. Okay, and that's actually for the next video. But the first example let's do 6x squared is equal to 4x plus 3. Okay, so step one is to get everything in order, so we'll do 6x squared, and we'll move these two terms over to the left side, and of course we do that by subtraction, and that should be minus 3 equals 0. And then your a term is the 6, or the a coefficient, the b is negative 4, and the c is negative 3. So be careful here that you do take that negative with the 3, okay, and the negative with the 4. So here we go, plugging it into the formula. Notice that the b variable here already has a negative in the front, so a negative times a negative is going to make that positive. So x is equal to positive 4. And then we have two possible answers. One we get with addition, and the second one we get with subtraction. So a plus or a minus, that's where our two answers are going to come from. And then we have the square root. Okay, b squared, negative 4 times itself is positive 16, minus 4 times the a coefficient, positive 6, times the b, or excuse me, times c, pardon me. And c right there is negative 3. So this is times negative 3. So be very careful, and I apologize for the parentheses right there. It shouldn't have done that. All over 2 times your a. Alright, so doing a tiny bit of simplifying here, we're going to have 4 plus or minus the square root. Now, this is 16. And actually this subtraction sign is also the negative that goes on the 4. So we have negative 4 times 6 times negative 3, which is going to make this a positive 24 times 3, which is 72. Okay, all over 2 times 6 is 12. Now I'm going to go one more step, and then I'm pausing on this particular equation, and we'll pick it up in the next video on how to simplify this further. But this is kind of a complicated process, and I want to stop here to just visit with you about solving quadratic equations, okay, and this part, especially the signs. So let's do one more very quick example, okay, especially on your c coefficient. So I'm going to stop here, and just for now, this is not the final answer, okay? We need to go further. Alright, but a second example, let's do 2x plus 4 is equal to negative 5x squared. And so the simplest thing to do here would be to move the negative 5x over here, 5x squared, and put it in order. So we would have a positive 2x and a positive 4 equals 0. And so this is a, our b is positive, and so is our c. That works out really nice. Okay, oops, excuse me. Alright, so x is equal to the opposite of b, which makes that a negative 2, plus or minus the square root. 2 squared is 4, minus 4 times a times c, and this time our c is a positive 4, so I don't have to worry about that pesky negative sign over there. 2 times a, okay? And then again, I'm going to simplify just a little further in the solving process because I want to talk to you about something. Here are these pesky signs again. Even though this one wasn't negative, you still have to be very, very careful right here because this is negative. So you're going to have 4 minus 4 times 5 is 20, times 4 is 80. And lo and behold, you're going to wind up, when you do that subtraction under there, you're going to have a negative value underneath the square root, which just basically means you've got a complex number that's going to pop up in the simplifying. So again, I'm going to stop here until the next video, and we will talk about simplifying completely these quadratic expressions. Don't cancel the -2 and the 10. Okay, resist the temptation there. All right. Okay, until the next video.